Northwest Indian War. The NHD topic of the year is conflict and compromise. In the Northwest Indian War, the conflict was the war. The conflict started because the United States wanted to settle in the Northwest Territory, which was where many American Indian tribes lived. The American Indians did not want settlers to live there and attacked them. This led to the war. After the American Indians lost the war, they agreed to a compromise. The compromise was the Treaty of Greenville, which made a boundary of where the Indians could live and where the settlers could live. With the Treaty of Paris of 1783, England gave up all claims to the Northwest Territory. This map shows the Northwest Territory. Now settlers are coming across the Appalachian Mountains into the Northwest Territory. American Indians did not want settlers to move westward into the territory, and it began attacking the American settlers. From 1783 to 1790, along the Ohio River, the settlers suffered 1,500 casualties, 2,000 stolen horses, and $50,000 in property damage. Little Turtle, the leader of the Miami Indians, played a big role in the efforts of the Indian Confederation. Both Little Turtle and Blue Jacket, chief of the Swahili tribe, led the Indians in the war against the Americans. The first major conflict is Harmer's defeat. President George Washington sent General Jonah Harmer, commander of the U.S. Army in Northwest Territory, to stop the Indian attacks. General Harmer led his soldiers to attack American Indian villages in the Northwest Territory. On October 20th, 1790, the Indians, led by Little Turtle and the Miami Indians, attacked part of General Harmer's force, led by Colonel John Hardin. In Hardin's force, there were mostly militiamen and few regular soldiers. Most militiamen didn't know how to fire a musket gun. They were ambushed. Most of the militiamen fled the battle. Most of the regular soldiers were killed. General Harmer led the soldiers after Little Turtle and the American Indians. Soon after, General Harmer's force retreated in defeat. The next major conflict is St. Clair's defeat. Arthur St. Clair was promoted Major General in 1777. In 1787, he became governor of the Northwest Territory. Following Harmer's defeat, General St. Clair led 1,400 militiamen against the American Indians. The problem with St. Clair's army was that they were all militia, and they were not trained. On November 4th, 1791, the American Indians, led by Little Turtle, surrounded General St. Clair's camp and attacked. After hours of fighting, General St. Clair and his army abandoned the camp, headed toward Fort Jefferson. Out of the 1,400 militiamen, 918 were killed and 276 wounded. Only 66 American Indians were dead. George Washington put General Arthur Wayne in charge of the army and told him to stop the American attacks. General Wayne trained his men for 2 years to make sure they were strong enough to fight the Indians. The last major conflict of the war was the Battle of Fallen Timbers. Little Turtle decided to work for peace, so the American Indians followed Blue Jacket into the battle. He planned to ambush the Americans, but the Americans were better trained and had excellent scouts. On August 20th, 1794, near present-day Toledo, Ohio, General Wayne led his troops to victory. After the American Indians surrendered, they agreed to sign the Treaty of Greenville, giving a barrier between the settlers where they could live and where the Indians could live. With the signing of the treaty on August 3rd, 1795, the Northwest Indian War ended. Later, Ohio became a state in 1803.